Now, something strange happened this week. Not just the yelling, not just the protest, but the pattern. Because sometimes a moment isn't just a moment. Sometimes it's a signal. And when you line up these moments side by side to this, you start to see something bigger than outrage. You see the connection.
Is that this is an ongoing fear and threat for people around this country. What happened to me is absolutely not new in the history of this country, and we have not seen accountability that gives me any reason to believe this won't be done to somebody else. So that's what I'm thinking about today. And honestly, I'm glad that it's me sitting in that seat rather than somebody who's cheering for what happened to me.
Oh, okay. What happened to you? Oh, man. U.S. Capitol Police arrested Ilhan Omar's State of the Union guest after she refused to stop standing and blocking others in the gallery during Trump's speech. It says this is the same deranged activist arrested in Minneapolis for using her car to block ICE agents' cars on the street. I'm sorry. The people are fucked in the head. No wonder they always end up violent. Yeah. Notice what this moment represents. Not chaos, not protest, but attachment. Because when someone's first instinct is, in a confrontation is call Ilhan Omar, that tells you something. Tells you a lot. Tells you this isn't a random protester. This is orbit, influence, proximity. And that matters because politics isn't just about what happens on the floor. We know that. It's about who moves in your gravitational pull. And when someone from your orbit ends up physically removed from the State of the Union, you don't just get headlines, you get questions. But the internet did what the internet does best, y'all. It zoomed in. And once that happens, there's no going back.
Members of Congress and my fellow Americans.
Trump, we just want you to go away.
Bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Go away, Trump. We love illegal. Boo, Trump. Fashion. Boo.
Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of members of...
Now, this is where it gets dangerous, right? Politically speaking. Not because of parody, but because parody only works when the audience already believes something. You can't mock power unless people think the power is slipping. And what you're seeing here isn't just internet humor. It's perception shifting. I'm serious. The same way a meme doesn't destroy a narrative, but it definitely exposes the cracks in it, for sure. And once the cracks appear, people start reevaluating everything, including the words themselves. Because suddenly statements that once felt powerful, they start to land differently.
Congressman Al Green was escorted out of the House chamber just minutes into President Trump's State of the Union address for holding a sign reading, "Black people aren't apes." What was your reaction to that?
I mean, isn't it just a sad moment for our country when a member of Congress has to remind the President of the United States that Black people aren't apes? I mean, just for a moment, think about that. Al was escorted because he refused to sit down. And I stand with Al. I think it is an important moment in our nation's history that we have to take a stance like that. We have to remind a sitting president that we, Black people, are not apes.
Did she just say take a stance when she set her ass down? My fault. You're a professional, bro. Relax. I'm just saying, listen to that framing, though. This is a sad moment for our country. That's the moral authority language. That's positioning. But here's the problem. Moral authority only works when the public still grants you moral leverage. And this week, that leverage got challenged, not by speeches, but by confrontation. Because when debate leaves the interview chair and enters the arena, everything changes. And the arena was waiting.
I have to point out Ilhan Omar. She repulses me, and I'm trying to find out why, because she's not unattractive. She has an unusual amount and kind of anger. Mm-hmm. She has no right to that level of rage in the United States of America, the country who gave her corrupt ass a new life. It's not like she's a homeless Vietnam vet who can't get services and should be enraged at the government. She should be kissing the ground she walks on instead of spitting on it. And her anger is also reminds me of the radical who, given power, would destroy you. She would show no mercy for you if you were below her. Like, the look on her face is somebody who would step on your neck instead of giving you a hand. And that is not the kind of person we should have in our leadership. It's not the type of person we should have in this country. And if we find out that she screwed up on her immigration stuff, she's got to go.
Gotta go.
She should be thanking President Trump for finding fraud.
Now, that wasn't subtle. That wasn't policy disagreement. This was reputation warfare. Prime time, sharp-edged. And intentionally personal. Because once a figure becomes controversial enough, criticism stops sounding like opposition. And it starts sounding like consequence. And when that happens, the conversation moves away from ideology and toward accountability. Which brings us somewhere much less theatrical, but definitely far more serious. Because while the cameras were focused on outbursts, something older and much bigger quietly resurfaced.
Alert also in Minnesota, the convicted ringleader of one of the state's biggest fraud schemes is speaking to Fox News from behind bars. Now, she believes that the scam was no surprise to local Democratic leaders, and she's naming names. She spoke to Alexis McAdams. Hi, Alexis.
Hey, Dana. Yeah, so everywhere you look in the state of Minnesota, right, there seems to be another fraud scam. So this one involves Amy Bach. She's a Minnesota woman convicted of fraud for taking taxpayer money that was meant to feed hungry kids. But listen to this. Bach tells me the real issue here is the state of Minnesota, which she says kept giving scammers your taxpayer money even after they were flagged as fraudsters.
I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this. They've said they were involved in helping the FBI. They've said they were made aware. But apparently I'm scary, so they couldn't do anything.
So Bach ran this nonprofit called Feeding Our Future. You might have heard of it. It was one of dozens convicted in this $250 million scam. You can see her mugshot there. Prosecutors say this group set up sham restaurants. They pretended they were making these meals. They got paid by the state for those meals, but they just pocketed the cash. Bach, who's looking at 30 years behind bars, tells me the state signed off on those businesses, not her.
It all went through a process. They were all approved. They were all paid by the state, yet all the fingers are being pointed at me.
And it's not just Bach. Whistleblowers told a congressional committee Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison there ignored warnings for years as millions of dollars and millions were stolen on their watch. Congress is investigating a long list of massive fraud schemes in the state. It's hard to keep up. Prosecutors say it's led to at least $9 billion in fraud, Dana, and counting. Congress also asking why the Attorney General there would meet with a group of Somali fraudsters, which were under FBI investigation in 2021. The group can be heard in an audio clip given to us by Bach's lawyer offering to donate to his campaign if he can help them get their funding flowing again. Ellison denies any wrongdoing here. He slammed Bach in a statement to Fox, calling her a liar and manipulator, adding now she's on a media tour to deflect her guilt onto others instead of finally taking responsibility for this fraud scheme that she ran. So we reached out to Governor Walz too, Dana. He didn't get back to us. House Republicans say it's just getting started. They want to subpoena Walz and Ellison because they say they're responsible for ripping off American taxpayers.
Now, this is where the story shifts from noise to structure. Because now we're not talking about reactions. We're talking about networks, meetings, contributions, you know what I'm saying, influence. And once the scandal stops being hypothetical and starts involving timelines, money, and recorded conversations, it changes the stakes. Because now the question isn't, was the moment embarrassing? The question becomes, What else connects? And when the financial side enters, boom.
Why are you targeting her when there is a Ilhan Omar? Your committee investigation with Ilhan Omar, when there is a process in the House, if people have questions about their conduct, this would go through the ethics committee. Why is this under
and I've spoken, I'm glad you asked that question. I've spoken with the ethics committee. The ethics committee has jurisdiction over members of Congress. The two businesses in question are owned by Ms. Omar's husband. So the ethics committee does not have jurisdiction over a spouse, only a member. So that's why we just asked, we would have questions. I don't think anyone would.
It would pertain to her overall finances, because that is listed on her financial disclosure report. Even though that's
we've run this by the ethics committee, and we think this is the appropriate route.
Why are you
from nothing to tens of millions in a single year? No matter your politics, that raises eyebrows. I can only raise my left eyebrow. I can't. Okay, let me stop. I'm over here looking like a leftist. I guess I am a leftist. I can only do it on my. Let me stop. Like I said, no matter your politics, man, it's just gonna how you like. Because politics can survive outrage. You know, it definitely can survive parody. It can even survive criticism, but it struggles to survive one thing, and that thing is curiosity. And right now, curiosity is spreading. All right. So maybe this week wasn't about a protest or a shout or even a confrontation. Maybe it was about something reopening. Because when moments stack like this, people stop reacting and start connecting. And once that begins, the conversation completely changes. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to put, I'm curious. Yeah, you know what I mean? Other than that, y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.